Welcome back to the AgriSpec Tom channel. This week I am down in Cambridge and I'm travelling up into North Lincolnshire and well into Yorkshire for the rest of the week. Now this is to see both growers and of course merchants. I'm going out on farm to do a fair bit of advising on the sort of maize maturities that growers should be looking at this season. So it'd be rude of me not to take you with me. First farm I've arrived at, and I've completely forgotten the mic. We're currently standing in a field of wheat, which is not looking too grand. It's absolutely full of blackgrass. So need to get some herbicide into it and sort this problem out because it is pretty infested. Now, what I've been told is that there are plenty of farmyard manure that has been applied to this, and basically it sounds like that was just full of blackgrass. And it's just shot up here quite big time, and the field is under a significant amount of pressure at the moment. So had its pre-em before this went in over the winter, and unfortunately, though the pre-em was effective, now it's just kind of shot up and away through this crop. So it's under, as I said, a significant amount of pressure, and if you don't get this under control, it will envelop the crop, take away nutrients, take away moisture, and outcompete this crop, and there just won't be a crop of wheat which is worth having if it takes over. So need to get in, get on, and take it out. There's also a touch of phosphate deficiency in the crop. This plant doesn't have it, but there is some in the crop. I don't think that's for a lack of phosphate, because the indices here are 3s and 4s in most of these fields. I think a lot of it is because it's just been sitting wet for a while and the rooting hasn't been particularly deep, so it's just experiencing a little bit of phosphate deficiency. Now that the weather is hopefully starting to turn, the roots will get a little bit deeper, capture some of those nutrients, and hopefully you'll see that now being rectified. However, the biggest problem in here is definitely the weed burden. I was given a what 3 words location for these fields, as well as a field which he hasn't put into a crop yet because he's looking at planting maize this year. And he's asked me to come and have a look at this barley, as well as some wheat that's a bit further along. And apparently he's meeting me down here, and he should have been here 20 minutes ago. So looks like I'm just going to have a look at the rest of this barley, and then I'll crack on and have a look at the wheat over yonder, and hopefully he'll have turned up by then. So I've arrived at the ground which is going into maize this year, and the farmer hasn't arrived yet, which is perfectly fine. I have the what 3 words location, so I know that I'm in the right place. And if you're wondering what's growing behind me, that's all blackgrass. It's Lincolnshire. You guys grow it for absolute fun up here. And I'm just having a little look around. I've had a bit of a walk already, and I have some thoughts. So my initial thoughts after having a little look around and a dig is that we're sitting with a silty clay loam. It's quite sticky. And it's sat wet for a long time. It's been overworked, which the farmer admitted to, so a fair bit of remedial work needs to be done to get this soil in condition where maize is going to root well. Previous crop was wheat. It's going to go back into wheat after the maize. So the maize is being used as a break crop, because behind me you can see a lot of blackgrass, and this is one of the reasons that maize is being used here. To mitigate the blackgrass, and they need to therefore get the maize off in September. So my feeling is that realistically they should be going for an FAF 180. This place is sitting low, so let me talk you through my reasoning. It is a silty clay loam, so it'll take a little bit of a while to warm up. So you won't get the drill in here until probably mid-May, I reckon. Or first week to mid-May, I should say. That's their normal time. And by this time the soil temperature should be consistently 12 degrees, so there'll be enough warmth there for maize to get up and go, but they need to get this clear by September. It's sitting quite low, so if this was a couple of 100 feet high, I'd be saying very early maturing variety, but as this is sitting quite low, and it is south facing. There'll be plenty of heat units available from that. Well, not plenty, but there'll be more than if it was up at a higher altitude, because we are north of the Wash here, so we're out of prime maize growing territory. I think realistically we shouldn't be going any more than an FAO of 180. His previous FAO was 200 and they were struggling to get it off, so I think 180 would be fine. On the phone I was thinking maybe a 170, but now that I've seen it, I think a 150 would be perfectly fine up here. Just to clarify, I said something just a minute ago about being outside of prime maize growing territory. That doesn't mean you can't grow maize here. Far from it. Absolutely not that at all. What I mean is that we're outside of where you could grow very late maturing varieties which need more heat units available to get them to maturity. Up here, we're a bit cooler. The further north you go, the more cool you get, and the less heat units you will have available to get that crop to maturity. Whereas the more southerly you are, the more heat units you have available, and the more growing days you'll therefore have available to you to grow a later maturing crop. I hope that makes sense. So I didn't get back to my hotel until quite late last night. Ended up having a meal with a few people that I know. So today is a little bit of a later start as I'm going over to a dairy. So when they finish milking, I'm going over to see them. So that'll be for an 11 o'clock appointment. So nothing stupid early this morning, which is what I've been more used to recently. Gonna grab myself a coffee and then hit the road. Finished over at the dairy farmer this morning over in Derbyshire. Now I'm north of the Humber. I've come to see an arable farmer who wanted to talk a bit about maize, and while I'm here he's asked me to take a look at some X-days that he's growing, because he felt it was looking quite hungry and was looking quite pale, and to be fair, I think it's absolutely fine. It doesn't look pale at all, but it had its first nitrogen application about 10 days ago and he hasn't seen it in a week, so I reckon that nitrogen is now taken up and the plants are looking better for it. There's no evidence of sulfur deficiency either. I think he applied a little bit of sulfur as well, and this field is looking absolutely fantastic. It was drilled in late October and this is part of a rotation which is going in with maize to hopefully start managing blackgrass problem that they've got in this part of the country. And overall this is looking very good. There's no evidence of any weeds coming up either. This field is looking incredibly clean, as evidenced by these beautifully clean drill lines. Look at them, it's absolutely stunning. So yesterday didn't end the best way. I did one last final visit yesterday. I went to see a dairy farm and it was a bit late when I got there. And he wanted to show me around. I always like going and seeing farms and being shown around, get an idea for the business and that sort of thing. And it's important that you do that. So we went around and checked the place out. Really enjoyed myself with it. Go into the shed where there's some very zealous heifers who are very friendly as well, and one mistook my foot for concrete. So last night I had to go to minor injuries to make sure that my foot was okay. Thankfully it was fine. I'm just grabbing some lunch / breakfast because hotel I'm staying in today, well, last couple of days and tomorrow, doesn't have Wi-Fi, which is really helpful when I'm trying to work. So this morning went out somewhere just to get some hotspot, and because there's no signal in my hotel room either, and I've just been answering calls and doing emails and setting myself up for next week. So just having a spot to eat. Then I'm going off to a merchant and we're going to go and pay a visit to an AD plant up here in Yorkshire. So that'll be quite interesting, and that is to discuss maize. Forget what I just said, they cancelled. And this happens actually quite a lot. So what am I going to do now? Driving range. Jokes I'm actually going to go find a cafe, do some work, and then go to the driving range.